I know most of you are used to me when I'm on the other side, but this time round, I am this other side. It gives me a lot of joy and a lot of pressure to just know that all the good things that we have been talking about the sector, and when I listen to what people are saying, actually education is almost leading in the front. We look like we are challenging the private sector in matters of keeping to our word, delivery of results, and so much more. So really for me today is to congratulate the team for this far that we have come. Of course, we've come from an examination period and we've not had a lot of complaints. It's a very good indication that the sector is headed in the right direction. For me, on behalf of the county, indeed this meeting we had a meeting with my governor, and we really feel excited about the idea of national government and county government working together in all these other sectors. And we want to use Nairobi to demonstrate to all of us that there are no county children, there are no national children, all of us are working together to deliver our particular goals. And we will really be keen to demonstrate to you all this. We will support each other, especially on this one, on ensuring that we can deliver to all the children a free education as the government has committed. Our county government is really committed to this. We will be engaging the heads of schools to see to it. I know there are so many difficulties. I've been on the other side where I've been saying let every child come to school, but now I am happy that we are going together to see what are these challenges, and we will support you. We will support you, that one I can guarantee you. Especially we are forming a committee on the question of bursaries to just see to it. Even if we are saying that let all children come to school, what are your challenges and where can the county government come in? This morning, the governor for Nairobi has sent me to tell you that in the coming week, we shall be launching the bursary project for Nairobi City County, and your input is much more welcome. I don't want to make many remarks, but I want to really thank you and to tell you that I am now here. Our doors are open for the office. Let's speak together. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Janet. I'm sure the Cabinet Secretary will mention one or two things that we are expected to do with the county governments, and more so, particularly the county government of Nairobi, so that we can be able to regenerate some of the work that we are doing in the sector. CS, if you allow me, I'll request Professor Magoha, the chair of NEC, to make some comments from where he is.
Thank you, CS. Good morning. Today is definitely not my day, but I want to say that I'm very proud indeed to be associated with this process. And in that regard, I want to thank my colleagues who are teachers and other stakeholders who have been involved in the process. And perhaps to emphasize that I have never seen change that is smooth. And therefore the hiccups that have perhaps been heard of does not take away the happiness of the Kenyan families, the great majority of them, and the happiness of the children. And I want to dare say one thing, that this journey that we have started, we are going to continue with it to the logical conclusion, because I can tell you from where I sit that everybody is happy. Everybody is happy with what is happening in this country. It doesn't belong to NEC, it doesn't belong to our field marshal, although he's the commander, therefore you see his name. It belongs to you, and you should own it and continue to participate in it so that we can ensure sustainability of the process. Because the greatest calamity, what I see is that can happen after you have spearheaded this process, is that it is attached to you or to one or two other people, and therefore when those people shift, then we slide back to the status quo ante. And therefore I would like to charge everybody here that we promise ourselves that whatever we have started doing shall remain sustainable. I say this because I have many international contacts, having been a headmaster of the University of Nairobi for 10 years. And people are happy outside there. All over the world, all the continents, people are happy to say, oh, there's something happening there. And we are happy you are also associated with it. And the only worry that I have is how CS Matiang'i is going to ensure that what he started remains sustainable. I thank you very much, CS, and I would like to say that even though we are not the same, I think our genetic footprints are reasonably similar. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Just as always, and I know the CS was once the CS in charge of ICT, and therefore the people of the fourth estate, they would always want to manage the way we do things. And I think for once we can accept what they are requesting us to do. They have said for purposes of properly being able to get what we are saying, that we can allow ourselves to come and to the podium. So at that juncture, let me request the CEO Teacher Service Commission to come and make some comments.
Thank you, PS. Our Cabinet Secretary, Dr. Fred Matiang'i, the PS is present, the Chairman NEC, the CEO NEC, Director General, the Director KICD, Madam Janet, it's good to see you here with us on this side. We are very happy, and all my colleagues, the union leadership, you are all my colleagues because we are in the same profession. So good morning. So I think with your indulgence, CS, you'll allow me to say a few things because these are our teachers. And I will start by saying, by joining all those who have spoken before me, and I know those who will come after me, to express my profound appreciation for the work you have just done over the last 1 month. I know you are just marking from a month-long KCSE examination season in which you executed with precision your role as center managers at your respective schools. We thank you for your gallant performance, even with all the immense pressure of administering examinations. The pressure is painful, but it was necessary because it will help to guarantee the future of our children. And allow me to say that I was touched to see our head teachers. I don't know why the rains, and I'm not complaining about the rains. You remember we were asking for the rains, but the rains just started when we started these containers. And I saw some of our head teachers walking in murky waters, literally, not worried about what's beneath there, not worried about the rains that was showering on them, just worried about those packets. Munakumbuka hizo picha? And it really touched me because this is what patriotism is about. Bwana CS, our teachers, like I keep saying, are among the unsung heroes of this country. I want to thank you, but I also want to say that the few cases we had of malpractice will not deter us from soldiering on. We shall get the few who, like I keep saying, who wants to kind of mar our good reputation as teachers, and we shall take stern action against such people because change has come. People must embrace change, or you'll be left behind, and if you are left behind, then the employer will deal with you as it should. As head teachers of national schools, the government will expect much more from you next year, and that's why we are here. Enrollment in your schools is set to go up thanks to the free secondary education program. I wish to request that you brace yourselves to ensure that this noble program that will boost transition rates truly succeeds with precision as planned. And I really request colleagues, let us not have issues of non-admittance like we have had in the past. Let us embrace this change like we have embraced the change in examination, and let's move on and make our country great again. Si ni ukweli? We want to make this country great again. The TSC is further aware that the increased enrollment will impact heavily on teacher shortage. We have therefore, as a commission, requested for an additional 12,696 teachers to be recruited annually for the next 4 years so that this 100% transition succeeds continuously for the next year. And the government is working on this, and this would, these teachers would be in addition to the recruitment done every financial year, so that we close the gap of the shortage in teachers. Related to the expected increase in enrollment, I wish to inform you that the TSC is reviewing the staffing norms to reflect the increase in enrollment. I wish to inform you that the TSC then will review these norms to reflect realistic teaching workloads for all teachers. The staffing norms will also take into cognizance the envisaged curriculum, competence-based curriculum. We shall also continue rationalizing teachers to institutions where their services are needed, so that as these changes occur in the curriculum, the competence-based and the enrollment, then the staffing norms will also be reviewed to take this and ensure that the pupil-teacher ratio remains manageable. Additionally, we will soon be announcing new guidelines on administrative structures based on school enrollment. The aim is to streamline school management and ensure administrative duties are consistent with school enrollment, and we shall be rolling out this policy so that as you get a higher enrollment, then we are making sure that our head teachers are not overburdened, and that is why we are coming up with the new administrative structure. Finally, the TSC wishes you all the best as you prepare to receive the pioneer class of free secondary school learning students. The Commission is committed to supporting you as an employer as you work tirelessly to ensure our children get quality education. We will remain committed as a commission to supporting all our teachers. And if I don't get to speak to you before you go for your holidays, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. And we really do not take for granted all the work that you have done. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Nancy. We know these are your people, and it was critical that you make those comments. I would want to acknowledge the Secretary General of NAT, Bwana Sosian, who arrived while we were continuing with and also Member of Parliament. But for now, he's one of us in NAT for this particular purpose. Then the remaining three of us, we are not going to say much. We are just going to acknowledge you. I'll request Dr. Mwinsi. Just
our CS, our internal and external stakeholders, I would like to just inform you that on 30th of November, just last Thursday, the Cabinet Secretary launched the process of establishing by January Kenya National Qualification Framework to harmonize our qualifications across all levels of education, and beginning in January will ensure access and equity, quality and relevance in all the education systems in this country. And this will go a long way in ensuring that our quality education is benchmarked against international standards. I wish you well as you go through the challenges of increased foreman intake in the next year. Thank you.
Let me request Professor Suda, please.
CS for Education, my PS colleagues, the CEOs of our sagas, the RCs, the CDs, representatives of our unions, members of the Fourth Estate, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good morning. How are you? You look tired, like you have just walked out of the containers. I think I'm happy. I'm happy to see all of you, and I'm confident that you have done a wonderful job and you will continue to do the same. I want to assure you that we will work with you every step of the way. We are happy with what you are doing, and we encourage you to manage these institutions which you are in charge of extremely well, because that is what makes the difference between a good school and a great school. Manage them very well, and manage the young girls and boys who are going to be in your custody very well, so that you nurture them into responsible citizens of this great country. I wish you God's blessings. We will be interacting in the course of the year until we meet in the next session of the containers. God bless you all.
Thank you very much. And concluding from the container, we would want to most sincerely acknowledge the good work that you did. On behalf of the Cabinet Secretary, on my own behalf, and on behalf of all of us, we would want to most sincerely appreciate the good work that you did while we were administering the examination. We also know that you are still engaged in our next critical exercise of ensuring that we mark the scripts of our children. We urge you to continue with the spirit that we started from the container. Finally, I would want to make a commitment as the accounting officer of the ministry that we are already engaging ourselves to make sure that your funding for January for the first term will be in school in good time, because we don't expect you to charge any other charges to our students, and that whatever it is that you'll use is what comes from government. So we would want to make sure that the disbursements are in school. All our disbursement will be in school in good time. With those remarks, it is now my humble duty to invite the Cabinet Secretary to launch this exercise. Karibu Waziri.
My good friends who are here with us, starting with my colleagues, my brother and my two sisters, our PSS, the Minister of Education, and all the leaders who have been listed here. And please allow me, so that we save time, instead of going through the whole list of protocol again, because Mr. Mazesi has named all of us here and we are happy to be here. Let us now get some work done. Honorable Sosion and my nephew Okelo Misori, I'm happy to see you. And you should treat your uncle differently this year. Stop calling strikes and so on, so that we can have a good sector. And all of you are my brothers and sisters. It's a joy to see you all here this morning. And let me begin by doing two things which I think are very important. First of all, I was sent here to convey regards from His Excellency the President. The President is truly grateful. He asked me to let you people know that his heart, as you saw during his inauguration, is partly hovering around the education sector because of the importance of what we are doing to the development and the growth of our country. And I am a grateful citizen of this country because I'm working in a sector where we don't discuss political will, because our leaders, our President and Deputy President, are focused on the education sector of our country. And so when it comes to taking decisions, seeking resources to enable us to move forward, we don't struggle a lot. And some of the promises that we are making today and we will make today, we are sure they will be fulfilled, because I know that our President has already made a commitment and made certain demands even of our colleagues from the National Treasury on some of the issues that we are going to discuss this morning. Secondly, I sincerely thank the Lord for all of you. And we all should be grateful. The last time we met in this kind of forum is about a year ago. The Lord Almighty has taken care of all of us, kept us in good health. We've gone through a fairly tough year, and the Lord has seen us through that year. We are by and large intact. A lot of good work has happened in the sector, and we should never take this for granted. We are really grateful, and we should be grateful to our God for His blessings and the guidance that He has given us in this sector. Each one of you, our colleagues, and many of our colleagues who are not in the room here, have engaged, and we've developed, as I keep saying every time we have these functions these days, slowly but surely, all of us across the spectrum of responsibility, we are developing the culture of conversation and creating a solid, formidable family in the education sector, so that we do that which the Lord has charged us with. Raise up the children the Lord has placed in our hands and do the right thing for our country. These responsibilities, of course, come with enormous challenges, but with focus, with commitment, and a spirit of honesty, we face these challenges together. And it is abundantly clear to all of us that when we work together as a team, we get everyone's input across the table, we succeed. And when we work together, we succeed. And I want to echo the words of Professor Magoha when he says we have to work together. There's no one in this world who is good enough to deliver anything on their own. A strong team. The principals who run our schools in our country remain our heroes. You are the people at the forefront of the challenges we face every day. We give you, our children, for 9 months during the year. You spend time with them, you look after them, you feed them, and you basically play parent to our children. If we were to apportion responsibility, you do more than we do, because you spend more time, you face more challenges than we all do. And that's why I'm grateful, and I will everlastingly be, to you, my colleagues, the principals in the schools. And even as I say so, I want to tell you that in the next phase of the things we want to do, now we have to gear up for more change and more work so that we can do better than we've done in the past. I'm grateful to the chair of Kesha, Mr. Ndimuli, and your team. We've had a fantastic relationship. During the examination period, I spoke to the chair of Kesha almost every other day. We did not take decisions without consulting, and even when we came to a point where we had challenges, we discussed them. And that is the way in which we should work. My brothers in the unions, we are one. You are part and parcel of us. And we always must strive to understand that there is nothing we cannot resolve around the table for the sake of our children. So let's do the best we can and give the best of ourselves as we move forward in this sector. We are doing this at a time when a lot is expected of us, and we should then be prepared to do more. I thank you, my colleagues from Jogoo House, the directors, my colleagues, the PSS. We are making, very good steps as we move forward. My sister Nancy and the Teacher Service Commission, we've enjoyed a solid relationship. And I say this without fear or favor, that we are privileged to be in a country and in a sector where we are served by professionals. The Teacher Service Commission is run by very competent people, always willing and ready to listen and to advise us when we take decisions. And I think this is the way we should work as we move forward. I thank all my colleagues at NEC. The reforms that have happened are because of the focus that the council led by Professor Magoha has had in what we are doing. We wish them well as we move forward, because I know even the year ahead will require that we make even more changes. More bold decisions have got to be made. And we will make those decisions. And we should not be afraid to do what we must do for the sake of our children, to to ensure that we do all the best. Janet, I'm grateful to you, but grateful to God for two reasons. One, you have been asking us to do things, and now it's your turn to do them. You will soon realize that on this side of the river, sometimes things are not easy. Occasionally you work hard and you try to do good things, but occasionally you get criticized also. Sometimes you get misunderstood. But welcome aboard. I am actually very grateful to the governor for the decision he made. We've already congratulated you, and we've already expressed ourselves to the county government that if all county governments across the country appointed people who understood what needs to be done, then relationships become easier, and our interface with county governments is made much more easy. So I'm one of those people who are grateful and thank God for your appointment, because you're not a new person to the sector, you understand the sector very well, we've worked before, and as I said, you will now soon begin to hear a few comments from my nephew, Mr. Kelo Misori, few comments from my brother, the Right Honorable Sosion, and then we'll be one big happy brotherhood and sisterhood, and then you will get to feel what we feel sometimes when we bash it around. I'll make 5 points because time is not on our side, and I will therefore avoid, reading this good speech which is full of wise sayings and quotations from Napoleon Bonaparte to everybody, so that we just make the 5 points I need to make and we get some work done this morning. Mr. Masese, my colleague, and the team that's involved in Form 1 selection, our wonderful team. You know these men and women, for 10 straight days, these good people have not slept. Because, please, Madam Kerongo, these are our people. They are wonderful people. We have piled pressure on them like hell. On Thursday, the PS and I went into the room to work with them practically. Because you see, I like answering questions directly, and I like taking responsibility. So I want to know what is happening. I don't want to be told. So we start up with these good people. And I'm really grateful for them. And I thank the Lord for you, for your spirit of commitment. And thank you indeed, and God bless you indeed for the work that you've done for us. Thank you. Please be seated. So, working as one and moving forward as one family, I can truly say the Spirit of the Lord is in this place, and we are really going forward in the right direction. So let's keep this pace as we go forward. So point number 1 is to say we've now the bulk of the selection or the placement exercise has been done. Beginning today, the team is going to be working with the rest of the structures in the education sector to ensure that every one of our children, 993,000 of them, or almost 1 million, are placed in school to start from 1. Principals, and I want to say this because I know the country is also listening, we want our children in Form 1 to start school on 9th of January across the board, both public and private. And private schools should not try to play games and say they don't have their own calendar. The Act says the Minister for Education fixes dates for everyone, including private schools. So they have to do what they do so that our children are in school from 9th. And we will give a shorter window, 9th to 12th, of reporting, as it were. As I promised when we released the KCPE results, we have placed all our children who got 400 marks and above in national schools. Regardless of whether they have come from public or private schools, we have placed them there. But I need to explain this, that because someone walked up to me the other day and told me, does it mean that if my child from Tana River, who got 360 marks and who was the top student in Tana River, I guess this is a hypothetical mark, is not going to be selected to a national school? No. What we've done, the formula that is used for selection is conscious of this, and the ministry ensures equity in placement in national schools by applying sub-county quotas based on candidature strength and affirmative action, where a sub-county candidature is too low to attract a quota, we still find a way of putting our kids in national schools. So I can tell you, and I can tell the country without fear or favor, that there isn't a sub-county in this country that does not have a child in a national school. Because the system ran down, chose about 3 from every sub-county and ensured they were placed in a national school. Because national schools are national resources that ought to be shared across the country, as it were. And this has addressed issues for minorities, marginalized groups, and so on, as provided for in the Constitution. And therefore, every care has been taken to place our children responsibly. Good people, this continues even to the various levels that are going to happen. You know, actually, and this is important for my younger brothers and sisters in the media, when we scout across the country, our capacity for Form 1, when you put together public and private, our general cumulative capacity for Form 1 is 1,053,742. That's our capacity, the total capacity, public and private. But we had about 993,000 students who sat the exam, because all the time you must draw a distinction between those who registered and those who finally sat the exam, therefore qualified to be in Form 1. So you can realize that we have surplus, revolving around 50,000. But we suspect that because of the free secondary education, we will have a backflow. There could be children who missed Form 1 last year who may want to enroll this year and so on. So that will take care of the situation, as it were. So I want to tell the country this for sure. We have capacity in Form 1. We'll be able to take each of our children to school. We have other challenges, and I'm going to address them shortly, which have been raised before even by the unions. And actually, I agree with the unions on the issues that they have raised before about teacher-student ratio. We need to recruit more teachers and stuff like that. And I'm going to outline shortly some of the measures that we have taken in dealing with this situation, as it were. In doing this election, certain challenges and issues have come up recently, and that's my point number 3. And these are the things that we now need to focus anew. When you look at the placement of Form 1 students, about 63% of our children are going to sub-county schools and county schools. We have put resources in the past, heavily invested in national schools, in extra county schools, but I think we now need, and I'm going to announce, this is one of the new policy frameworks that we are beginning to work on beginning now. We are going to have increased focus on sub-county schools and county schools, because they take the bulk of our children, which means, and my colleagues, the PSs are here, who are the accounting officers, our infrastructure expenditure is going to be deliberately biased towards sub-county and county schools, because we want to support those schools to grow. And let me tell you, good people, when I'm talking about the textbook story shortly and the savings that we are likely to make in the process, we are going to put more resources in county and sub-county schools. In fact, going forward, our focus is going to be on the county and sub-county schools, because this is where the bulk of our children are going. I have discussed with my sister Nancy, and I've asked her also in the case of TSC, the recruitment of new teachers. Again, new focus is going to be ensuring that the county and sub-county schools get the teachers that they need, because we must find a way of strengthening the county and sub-county schools across the country. The bulk of our students go there. And of course, in addition to that, I am requesting, and you good people who are here will assist us in looking at some of your competent, well-performing teachers, including some of your deputies from some of your great schools. We would like them to now go to the county and sub-county schools, because it would be good to have the debit principle of alliance go to a county and sub-county schools and take that experience from, top national school and run a county or sub-county school to do well. Because that is how we're going to strengthen that bit of the education system. So our plan is actually now going to target county and sub-county schools. We have noticed recently, and now I'm going to refer directly to what my sister Janet was talking about earlier. Capacities in urban areas are constrained because of administrative and governance issues. I'll give you a classic example. Some of our extra-county schools in Nairobi, for instance, are steeped in, for want of a better phrase, annoying conflict. You find that secondary school is in the same place with a primary school. And for eternity, they are quarreling about the fence, where the primary school kids should go. With immediate effect, we are dissolving all those boards and creating one board for all the schools. So that if a primary school and secondary school are in one compound, they have one board. One chairperson, one board. And we have agreed with TSC, they will appoint one principal with two deputies, the deputy for primary and the deputy for secondary. so that because the Moi Forces Academy experience has worked for us. What do you guys think? Yeah, we spend time on unhelpful things so that, you know, it's all the time moving around. So the regional coordinators who are here with me, the schools in your jurisdiction, especially the urban schools where primary school and secondary schools are in one place, the boards stand dissolved. We want to form one board which manages the two schools. My sister Nancy is working on the framework where there will be one principal and two deputies. One deputy for primary and one deputy for secondary, so that we can maximize on the use of those resources. If you know the story of St. George's in Nairobi, you know what I'm talking about. If you know the story of Nairobi Primary, you know what I'm talking about. If you know the story, and there are many cases like those where our capacities are constrained because of some nonsensical squabbling, you know, where we're just behaving like warlords, and yet we are actually all supposed to focus on our children. So everybody, kila mtu anataka kuwa mkubwa. Oh, sasa unajua hujatuuliza kama tutaleta desk kesho, and so on. And we spend all the time doing those things at the expense of the learning of our children. So we will work in that kind of direction. It doesn't matter if there is a requirement that we amend the act to give those boards extra mandates. We will first of all, thankfully enough, Honorable Session is in Parliament. Why can't we amend the law if we are required to do that? But I don't think we need to amend the act. What we need to do is harmonize the governance and the administrative issues that constrain capacities in these schools, so that resources are managed well, effectively, and then we can expand capacities. About 19 schools in Nairobi, our national, some of them national schools in Nairobi, are going to have day classes. We've had a meeting with you. We'll have day streams. We've worked on even regulations on how those day streams will be managed. We want to experiment this. We don't fear change. We try change because we constrain ourselves, and then in the process we lose out on benefits that we would have. So we will work closely with those schools that are involved and ensure that we support them effectively. You will not be alone. Whatever challenges you anticipate or whatever issues you anticipate, we will work together with you. As we begin the new framework for free-day secondary education, I know that we have issues about teacher-student ratio. On this particular one, I agree with the unions. I don't have to argue with what Honorable Session says or what Akelo says. It is true, because you know, when something is sensible, it's sensible. We operate on the basis of common sense, that we need to ratchet up our numbers for the teachers so that we can address the teacher-student ratio. Now, let us work on it together. How we are going to work on it together is this. We ourselves are wanting to work very hard on the budgetary issues to see whether we free more money, and we want a targeted recruitment that focuses especially on secondary schools. We hire more teachers. Right now, TSC is recruiting more teachers, and we are looking for resources within the budget to hire even more teachers, so that we are going to singularly focus on the teacher-student ratio, especially for secondary education. That is how we are going to address this challenge as we go forward. So when we have worked the math, we have worked the resources, looked at the savings and the sacrifices we are going to make from our budget, we will make the announcement. But I want to assure you, we will recruit more teachers, because this is something we need to do. And also explore other ways we can support schools to acquire more teachers. I feel it for principals who have sometimes to hire contract teachers through the boards of management. Sometimes there are constraints to that. We are looking for a way of assisting you. We are moving closer. We are even exploring the peers and the team. We are looking at a new experiment we want to do, whether as we go along, we can actually have some savings. Instead of giving infrastructure resources, we give earmarks to support principals and boards so that they can acquire more teachers, because that really is something we want to focus on. But I want to assure you that whatever proposals that we come up with, because we want to implement others, we will welcome your suggestions. I will soon request a meeting with the unions and the KESHA to present to you the new framework that we have that is going to address specifically the teacher-student ratio issue as we move forward as a critical aspect of what we are going to do. And we are open to suggestions. Government wants to operate in a consultative manner, and they will work together as we move forward. On this point, I want to say this. To support free secondary education, we're increasing capitation from 12,870 currently to 22,244 per student. So with that increase, it means that we are actually removing tuition completely for all secondary school students. And we've worked this math. It's very helpful. The next one, before I conclude my remarks, is that we have to address the question of learning outcomes. I have been to schools without number. My colleagues here, the PSS, our directors, our regional coordinators, know this very well. The question of textbooks and learning materials, my brothers and sisters, a time has come when we now must face the truth. And you, good people in national schools, are not the problem. I am aware of what Nairobi School has been doing over the years. I'm aware of many of your schools have no problem with textbooks. But your brothers and sisters on the other side, it's a joke. I have been to schools where 45 students in one classroom, 4 textbooks. 50 students in one classroom, 5 textbooks. How on earth do you expect those children to do well? We are irresponsible people if we sit back and watch that go forward. So we have made a decision. We will supply textbooks. We will do what responsible governments do. We have worked with the Kenya Institute of Curriculum Development, whose statutory mandate it is to choose content, to approve content and approve the textbooks. And KICD has both reviewed the books in the Orange Book, identified the core textbooks in each of the 6 critical subjects, and had a meeting with the publishers. And this affects all publishers. About 7 or so, Joanne, publishers are going to be involved in this, because when we started, the accusation was the government wants unfairly to privilege government-owned publishing houses. Now everyone is going to be involved, because I'm aware that publishers from the private sector, some of them had their textbooks chosen as the core subject textbooks. So they will provide the textbooks. So effective, this class we are selecting, all the Form 1s who report on 9th, we will give them 6 textbooks in school for mathematics, English, Kiswahili, biology, chemistry, physics. And the textbooks are going to bear special marks. They will look like this. They have a coat of arms on it to indicate not for sale. The textbooks will look like this, so that they are not sold in bookshops. There will be textbooks procured with public resources and given to our children. So, please, my sisters and brothers, don't ask any Form 1 student to come to school with textbooks. We will, on 4th of January, we will flag off the distribution of textbooks across the country, and the Form 1 students who come to school will be given 6 textbooks for mathematics, English, Kiswahili, biology, chemistry, and physics. And the books have been selected through a process that is respected by statute. So we will give them the books. This is how you achieve equity, because a child in Sigalame Secondary School somewhere will have the same book as the child in Alliance High School, a child in Mango High School has at the same time. Don't want to walk to a school where in Nairobi school there are books, or in Maseno school there are books. But when you go to Sigalame, there are 4 textbooks in a class of 45, and we expect to learning outcomes on the same pace. We will push this policy forward. I want to assure you, we will not go back on this, because we want to be responsible people. That is how we are going to help our children. So please, this now brings to an end that thing which you people don't do, but some of your brothers and sisters in extra county and county schools do, called book harvest, putting burdens on parents. I was giving an example here. I was in a school in Meru, to my colleagues. I was a guest of honor at a parents' function. And on that day there was a book harvest, so-called book harvest, to show you how we are dishonest with ourselves. A huge box was brought before us. And then the principal started calling. Form 4, parents bring books, they throw them in. No one counts the books, no one knows what books there are. Form 3 parents, and no one says what books they are, because I saw the wife of a politician bring a box of books on flowers, animals, and so on. I don't know what that, okay, it's okay for our children to learn about flowers, but anyway, if you actually, we have a curriculum we have to follow. I mean, good people, let's be serious about the things we are doing. And then of course, thankfully, some of those good people, many of you are very honest and hard-working people. We can't say the same thing about some of us. Because if you carry those books that same evening, take them to your local cousin who runs a bookshop to sell them. Who has the accountability of those? Who knows how many books they were and what they were for? And we keep imposing burdens on parents, you know, book harvest, let's meet and so on. This thing must come to an end. And regional coordinators and CDs who are here, one that will be held in your county or in your region, you will take responsibility. Hatuwezi kukubali haya maneno sasa. We will provide the books. And when I discuss this another day, you will be very surprised about what it means. In the Orange Book, I was showing Professor Magwa and he was shocked. Books that were told are costing 790. Now through the procurement system that we're having, they're costing 194. I am telling you the truth. When you look at the amount of money we have been losing through the processes that we have been having, it is shocking. You are right to be shocked, my sister. It's true. You are shocked. Because we have been losing so much money and we give this money out. Each one of these, my colleagues from Jogo House can tell you, because I've been to schools with one of these good people, because I never go out to a school without them. These regional coordinators can tell you. I've walked in schools and asked, what subject is this? Agriculture. 50 students in the class. What textbook are you using? I don't know what by KLB. Fair enough. How many of you have the textbook? 4. In a class of 50. And we have given money for textbooks every year. Tuwaje haya maneno. This doesn't affect you, because many of your schools, our national schools, don't have a problem, because that's why you do well. Many of you buy books. Your sisters and brothers in those other schools don't buy books. They have a creative way of using the money. Sasa tutanunua vitabu sisi tupelekee watoto wetu. That's what responsible people do. Because I can't believe this good man from KLB is here. Let me tell you, to demonstrate to you how shocking it is even to me. They supply books to Rwanda. And when the books are distributed in the schools in Rwanda before they are paid, they cost a third of what the same textbook costs in Nairobi. Actually, in Highway, which is a school 200 meters away from KLB. So the book there in Rwanda costs a third of what the book costs in Highway, 200 meters away from KLB. Are we serious? We have to think about our children. That's how we are going to be responsible. So, hold us to account. We are ready to be accountable. Hold us to account. Tutapeleka vitabu sisi na musiulize wazazi vitabu. Tutaleta vitabu kwa shule. From 4th, we'll have a big ceremony flagging off books. We'll start distributing books to our schools. When Form 1s arrive at Kipsigis Girls, 6 books, each one of them. kitabu itakuwa hapo na wangojea. Alafu tuendelee. Wale wa sub-county, yeah. The ones in sub-counties and the rest will take the books to the containers. We took the exams, the containers. Tupate huko so that everybody gets this. And you will be shocked at how much money. I think PS, we should show this even through Kesha. We should make that report available so that you see that report for yourselves. You'll be very surprised at how we have been losing money. Books we have been told under the Orange Book are costing 800. Now 200. So, lastly, we have created an infrastructure that will help all of us and help our parents especially to access the letters. They'll print out the letters the way we did last year. And I thank you, principals from national schools. I'm very, very grateful. There are challenges we used to have in the past which you don't have now anymore. Because mambo ya kupotea kwa barua, locking a letter in the drawer and so on, every child, wherever they come from in this country, if they have been selected to a school, they are entitled to go to that school. So, there are two things we are going to do. I have asked the PS and our directors, this time round, we will collect the data ourselves through our regional coordinators and CDs. Once the students are reported and everything, we will now do comparison between the data that we will have from schools and what we have today from the selection. Sasa tujue ni nani alienda akaunda duka yake huko akaanza mambo mengine ambayo inasumbua watu. Let us be honest people. That is very important, especially because we are handing our children tusaidie watoto wetu as it were, and we encourage them to grow responsibly. We have been able to do this selection, or we have placed students at least from national extra-county schools. You can get the letters, and if they send the index numbers to this number 20042, they can print out their letters. But because we know that there can be challenges, we're asking our sub-county directors of education and our county directors of education to be available to deal with any issues that may arise. As Professor Magoha said, an exercise of this magnitude can have 1 or 2 hitches. That's okay. And my colleagues, don't be stressed when people come and complain or whatever. Don't be stressed. We are one team. We have your back. I know there are people walk into my office sometimes, politicians, and they say all manner of things about, oh, this principal is bad. When I listen after 3 minutes, I discover it's because they didn't get a place. Don't worry. Even if you are called bad, just follow the law. Let's do the right thing. Even Jesus was called bad at some point. Don't worry. Life is like that. But let's do the right thing for Kenya's children. And my sister Nancy is here. She will watch your back as much as we will also watch your back. Let's do the right thing, please. And ensure that the children are admitted and they go to the schools they have chosen. But if there are any issues, we can sort them out from the sub-county directors, the county directors, and we are going to have a desk for about 1 month at Jogo House that is dealing with this Form 1 placement. So that if the people who are aggrieved for one reason or other, they will come and have their issues addressed and so on. And so directors who are here, CDs and regional, if there is any complex issue, Mr. Masese's team, the crew is going to be run by Paul Kibet. Paul Kibet is here. Every time I see Paul, I keep saying we should conduct another raid of Kesha and get some more good people to help us. Paul is here courtesy of raiding Kesha, and we are very happy with the raid. I think as we go forward, we should conduct another raid and get 1 or 2 other people to help us like Paul is doing. So Paul will be managing the process, and if there are any issues, please do let us know so that we can resolve them. Lastly, as the PS said, we're working hard, and because the Office of the President has been very categorical about this, the President is very keen that we achieve this, we will most likely move the initial capitation money out to schools before January. That's our aim, so that when you open schools, you are not stressed. We want to make your life a bit bearable. But please, my brothers and sisters, if there's anything else we need to do to support each other so that we ensure this moves smoothly, please do not hesitate to let us know. So thank you very much. I don't know whether to actually wish you Merry Christmas because I know we have to continue working. Some of you are managing our marketing centers. Thank you so much. You know, we in the education sector, we probably have a break around Easter. This time of the year is not a good one for us. It's time for work. I am sorry, and I have to tell you, principals from national schools, where is Jasper? Maina? Sorry, my friend, your holiday imezama kidogo. Lakini that's life. You will have another time to be happy as soon as we complete this exercise. So, tumekubaliana zote, watoto kwanza, our children first, then we come second. So, you are not alone. We will be working with you, even us. Tunataka tumalize mambo ya watoto kwanza, alafu tutajivinjari baadaye, as it were. So thank you so much for making the sacrifices. Let's do our best. Ensure this is done. Thank you so much. May God bless you indeed for the good work you continue to do. It's always exciting to work together. I have come to know about half or more of you, and I tell you, we are really a blessed country, especially because of you wonderful people and your commitment to the service of our beloved nation. God bless you.
Thank you very much, CS. Can we clap for CS for those? And those concerns that parents raise, or sometimes they're unable to print the letter, like the CS has said, if there is any challenge, we will get in touch. CS will get in touch with the Huduma centers so that they can help solve some of those problems. Huduma centers, parents can be referred there to be assisted. We now wanted to request that we demonstrate the online download of the calling letter. When I CS, we request, sir, if you go down and demonstrate or print at least one of the calling letters, because the candidate must by now have sent their index number to 20042.
No, we are not coming from there. And for more selection. So what we've done, we have not activated it.
Nede?
Say so. So
Wanna
just click here, say, select here. Now you can be able to choose any person that we want. Maybe So it loads it, and then it will match the letter. So you'll see there's a link here. Click the link.
You can see that is the top girl.
Click.
Can you see the name? You can even see her school. And the Kenya High School letter is there. So Gold Aline is going to the Kenya High School. And the letter is coming out in a minute. Principal Kenya High. So she's receiving the print from CS For Gordalin Kakuya, the best student in KCPE 2017. And the letter is there. You may not have the benefit of seeing CS holding it in his hand.
Principal.
Yeah, there's another candidate. So put the index number.
Okay. Is it one or that one? So 15319334001. Okay. All right, that's it.
That was the girl number 2. That was the girl number 2, Murega Sharon Nkatha from Kathingiri Primary School in Meru. That's a public primary school. The second best girl. The letter, the girl is going to Alliance Girls High School. Principal Alliance Girls. So that letter will be taken to the primary school for confirmation that this is the candidate.
Principal, how are we doing? Very good. Tunangojea barua yako. Inaonekana inachukua muda lakini itakuja tu. Thank you very much. Asante.
Live pictures there from the KICD, that's the Kenya Institute of Curriculum Development, where CS for Education Fred Matiang'i has just officially launched the selection for Form 1 places. Yes, and Gordalin Kakuya, the top student, KCPE 2017, has the CS has just printed her admission letter to Kenya High School, and the second student who comes from Imenti South is going to Alliance High School. Yes, you can simply use the number 20042, send a text there, and you are able to print your admission letter to Form 1. The selection continues throughout this week for other students. Remember, there are at least 1,054,000 slots for Form 1 places against number of candidates 993,000, meaning at least there are surplus positions in Form 1 this time round. I'm still in studio with Brezhnev Otieno, Advocacy Manager at WEZO, an initiative that aims to improve competencies in literacy and numeracy among children in the region. You've had the CS. Quite a number of things. He's mentioned some things that were completely new, and I could see you smiling from time to time. I'm sure you're impressed by some of those things. What are your highlights from his speech?
One, making selection open and transparent, that parents can get the school that their children deserve. You can simply print the letter and be sure that the school that you selected is the one that you are going to. And then secondly, that they'll follow up the data to ensure that the students selected for particular schools are the ones who actually go to those schools.
Yes.
So there is no opportunity for mischief.
It's been quite a problem.
We had a challenge of mischief by some head teachers and some principals. They usually ensure that they allocate some positions in the school to their friends, and then of course some politicians. And then secondly, we had complained initially about the infrastructure in our county and sub-county schools, and I'm saying the CS has stated clearly that they'll put aside some funds basically to improve infrastructure, which for me is very, very commendable.
Yes.
Just need to see how that is actualized and put into place.
The issue of textbooks was big as well.
Yeah, basically it's another, again, space for people to engage in corruption, another illicit affairs. Government sends money to schools every year to buy textbooks. But apparently you'll be shocked, in some schools we don't have the textbooks. So the idea for the CS to say that the ministry will buy books directly and send them to schools, for me is very commendable.
Let's go back to the KICD. I do understand the CS is currently speaking. Let's listen in.
That if someone accuse you of asking relevant questions.
The question was about how have you identified the publishers for each book of the 6?
There's a body called Kenya Institute of Curriculum Development. Find the Kenya Institute of Curriculum Development Act and read it. It will tell you what KICD is supposed to do. Its mandate in the education sector is exactly to do what they are doing. Identify content, approve content which is aligned with the curriculum, and then avail that content to the schools. So KICD has done that, and it's a very open consultative procurement process that has happened according to the law. It is so clear, it's stipulated in the law.
So does it mean that one publisher for every subject?
No, you see now, that is why I'm saying, please, can you study the report and understand how it works? Then I will be available to answer your questions. Yeah. I will avail the report.
All right, this is the Cabinet Secretary talking about the plans in ensuring that they are able to get those materials for learners. Of course, he says there is a report that will have to be provided to indicate how they have selected the publishers for each of the books, but he says that the core subject, that is mathematics, Swahili, English, biology, physics, and the other science, that is to do chemistry, those are the books that the ministry will be supplying to each and every school, so that every learner, as they join Form 1 on the 9th of January next year, they will be getting those books. But the other question that he has not responded to is in as far as the other subjects, because the core subjects are 6, but the other subjects that are offered in schools, how will the supply of textbooks, how will it be done? Will the ministry be having an upper hand in the distribution of those materials, or will it be the school to continue with a plan of purchasing the books like they have done? But of course we'll be posing these questions further even after this, so that we can see from the report what does it say in as far as those other subjects apart from the 6. And the other matter has been in as far as the enrollment of the candidates is concerned, the formers that will be joining school come next year. He says that the 993,000 who's at the KCPE this year rather will be getting their slots. He says that there are currently 1,053,000 positions, or rather placement slots in the schools. So the question about there being a surplus, of course, saying that there are 60,000 extra spaces that are available for learners who may not have gotten an opportunity to join Form 1 now for the very first, and there will be an apparent 100% transition. So we'll be waiting to see really if all the persons that start this examination will be proceeding on to join those Form 1, so that we can verify and confirm that it is indeed happening, and also the factor of the rollout of the 3-day secondary schools. It says that the capitation per learner will be increased from 12,000 to 22,000, so that money is essentially sufficient to cater for the tuition fees, meaning that learners will be joining will be joining day schools across the country will not have to pay for anything. They will be studying free, so free of charge. And of course, talking about issues to do with the infrastructure development, to do with the enrollment or the recruitment of teachers in the schools, the Cabinet Secretary indicating that they will be concentrating on ensuring that there are sufficient numbers of teachers in the county and sub-county schools. He was saying that 63% of learners do offer, or rather do receive learning in these schools. So the focus will now move from the national schools and the extra county schools to ensure that the quality of education is enhanced, and of course that is also added to by what the Teacher Service Commission, the CEO, the Chief Executive Officer, Nancy Macharia, was saying, that they'll be ensuring that they are able to employ 12,000 teachers every year for the next 5 years. That is in addition to what has been happening in as far as the annual recruitment is concerned. So various changes that the Cabinet Secretary and of course the leaders in the education sector are announcing. So now the question now moves to ensuring that is adhered to and ensuring that there is accountability even beyond this season. So that has been the official launch of the formal selection. Of course, candidates can send their index numbers to 20042. Today, what they were doing, they were launching the selection for national schools and the extra county schools, and then by Friday, they expect that all the other schools will have completed this entire process, and then the learners can be in a position to access the schools that they have been invited to join, and also receive the letters which can be printed from the website of the Education Ministry. But the Cabinet Secretary says that the Department of Education in the counties and sub-county level will also be useful in ensuring that if there are any challenges witnessed, then they can be in a position to resolve that. So of course the top candidate, that is Godwin Kakuya, was the first to receive her letter, which has been demonstrated here, and she'll be joining Kenya High after scoring 455 marks out of the 500 marks that was possible in this exam. Back to you in studio.
Thank you, Sam. Sam Gituku there live from the Kenya Institute.